The following program has been pre-recorded. All rights reserved to McCullough Films and FAK3 News. Good afternoon, I'm John McCurdy, and this is On the Hour. Tonight we will return to our regular broadcast with the news, weather, sports you have come to love. We will have a deep dive article about immigration in America, as well as today's news headlines. We will have a sports section featuring the race between Mr. Anderson and Aiden Ott that occurred at your very own AHS just a few days ago, as well as weather and the best music. Our first song is Pennsylvania 65000 by Glenn Miller and his orchestra. Now for today's news headlines. Fighting intensifies in Ukraine around attacks at Russian energy infrastructure. There is speculation over ICE and Border Patrol's use of tear gas against crowds. And the Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan wins a disputed election with 97% of the vote. Today we'll be looking into some statistics behind the U.S. border problem to try and figure out how big it really is at the moment. In today's video, we hear lots about illegal immigrants at the border and within the United States. But compared to years past, how large is our current border problem with Mexico? To start off, in July of 2025, there were 4,600 attempted border crossings according to the United States Border Patrol. This number makes a projected 55,200 attempted crossings per year. According to the Department of Homeland Security, United States Border Patrol intercepted around 80% of the attempts. On the other hand, 180,500 people are expected to legally immigrate to the U.S. from Mexico this year. That is more than double the number of attempted illegal crossings. Illegal immigration first began to decline in 2020 due to the pandemic. However, in the months immediately after the outbreak, the crossings began to increase again, with the rate of people who attempted multiple crossings quadrupling. From 2024 to 2025, however, illegal crossings saw a deep slope downward to 91.8%, where it rests today. So, in conclusion, at the moment, the border problem is 98.1% better than it was a year ago, with our rates being the lowest they have been since the 1970s. You're listening to FAK3 News.
I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill, on Blueberry Hill. When I found you, the moon stood still on Blueberry Hill and lingered until my dreams came true. The wind in the willow played love's sweet melody, but all of those vows we made were never to be. Though we're apart, you're part of me still, for you were my thrill on Blueberry Hill.
And now it's time for the weather. On today's Sunday, there will be a high of 58 and a low of 31 with some scattered clouds. It will be cloudy all week, with Monday having a high of 60 and a low of 38. On Tuesday, there will be a high of 67 and a low of 44. On Wednesday, there will be a high of 57 and a low of 41. On Thursday, there will be a high of 65 and a low of 41. On Friday, there will be a high of 62 with a low of 43. On Saturday, it should clear up a little bit with a high of 62 and a low of 43. And on Sunday, it's back to cloudy with a high of 52 and a low of 41. You're listening to On the Hour. And now it's time for sports. On Thursday, October 30th, a race was held between our very own history teacher, Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Aiden Ott. Now, this race was a 100-meter dash between the two, and I had the wonderful opportunity of having interviews with the both of them before the race. Our sports program will also include the play-by-play of that race and the verdict from the judge, Mr. Hunter Kinsey, who watched it go down at the finishing line. The starter for the race is Miss Bradley Haas. Here are the interviews. Mr. Anderson, I'm here with you today. I'd like to ask you some questions about your race. First off, just how are you feeling going into it?
I'm feeling a little nervous. Haven't been doing a whole lot of physical activity lately, so we'll see how I feel after. But I'm fairly confident in my abilities here. So we'll see how it goes.
Sure. Now, you are a soccer coach, that's right, and an
Yep.
avid soccer player.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that will help you going into this race?
I think so. Yeah. There's a lot of kind of like short sprints you have to do for soccer, so you kind of got to cover a lot of small distances. So I'm pretty good with straight line top speed.
Sure. This race is a 100 or a 100-yard. It hasn't been decided.
Yeah. I think we talked about doing it on the track, and then we talked about doing it on the field. So we'll see what the conditions are like when we get out there.
Sure. You are the favorite by 44%.
Ooh,
no. So
really? I didn't know that. Hey,
yes.
There we go.
So how does that make you feel, knowing you have the public support?
I feel like maybe folks are just trying to get on my good side. I think it puts a little more pressure on me. I did find out from some other students that the Aiden, who I'm racing, is pretty quick. So that gave me a little bit more, maybe not anxiety, but a little more nervousness, that we have some actual competition with it, But yeah, a little more pressure, I guess, from having 44% more favoring me.
Sure.
But we'll just get out there and we'll do what we do.
Well, great. Hey, thank you for coming on. Is there anything
Oh, I
you'd
appreciate
like to
it.
say?
No,
All right.
we're all good.
Well, that was Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
Next, we had our interview with Aiden Ott. Aiden Ott is a freshman here at AHS, and he plays football. In track, he could run an 11.75 100-meter dash. I held this interview with him on the field right before the race as he was getting his shorts on. All right, Aiden, thank you for coming on here today. I just got a few questions for you. So how are you feeling coming into this race generally?
I feel really good, I've been waiting this race for a while. He's been talking, so we're making me quiet.
All right. You do know that off public polls, Mr. Anderson is the 44% favorite going into this race?
It's 44, though, I'll be there. It's more fuel to me. They keep doubting me. That's what I want.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Hey, good luck to you, man.
Thank you.
Anything else you'd like to say for the people?
If I win, I'm getting food. That's all.
All right, thanks, man. With both contestants interviewed and prepared, the race was set off at 3:21. And we're here at the high school track. The two runners are warming up. Mr. Anderson is wearing khaki pants with the black t-shirt, and Aiden Ott rocks the black t-shirt with black shorts. No, they're debating which lane to go in now.
Okay, well, whenever I clap, that's when you go.
Looks like it'll end up being lanes 3 and 7. They're both getting to their blocks now. Barely has started. And they're off. Mr. Anderson to his start. Otter's putting his hands out. They're going down. They're at the 50 right now with Mr. Anderson in the swim lead. Hunter Kinsey at the end. They're going. Looks very close. No way of telling from here. I think Mr. Anderson got it, but we don't know. They both dipped at the end. We'll see. Hunter Kinsey, we're still waiting on the verdict from our judge, Hunter Kinsey. It looked like Mr. Anderson had it, but we can't know. And now it's time for the official verdict. Our judge will tell us who won. Who had it?
Benjamin Anderson with a solid 0.5 second gap on Aiden Ott.
All right, well, thank you very much. Well, that's it for today. It was a beautiful day for a race and a beautiful expected finish. And that concludes our sports section. I hope you all enjoyed this lovely unexpected race that we had the pleasure of covering. We know it was fun for us, and we hope it was fun for you. Now, more music. You're listening to On the Hour with FAK3 News.
You've seen him up and down the avenue, and now he's wearing the navy blue. She had a tear in the corner of her eye as he said his last goodbye. Shoo, 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 baby. Shoo, 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 baby. Bye, 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 baby. Da-da-da-da. Your papa's off to the 7 seas. Don't cry, baby. Don't sigh, baby. Bye, 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 baby. Da-da-da-da. When I come back, we'll live a life of ease. Seems kinda tough now to say goodbye this way, but Papa's gotta be rough now so that he can be sweet to you another day. Bye, 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 baby. Don't cry, baby. Shoo, 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 baby. Da-da-da-da. Your Papa's off to the 7 seas. Shoo, baby, do-da-do-da. Shoo, baby, do-da-do-da. Shoo, baby, shoo, shoo. Quiet! I want a little bit of quiet in the house, please. She wants a little bit of quiet in the house. Her Papa's on his way to cross the 7 seas, so don't you cry, oh, don't you sigh goodbye now. Shoo, shoo, baby. Shoo, 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 my baby. Shoo, goodbye, baby, don't you cry no more. Your big guitar, Papa's off to the 7 seas. Seems kinda tough now to say goodbye this way, but Papa's gotta be rough now so that he can be sweet to you another day. Shh, baby. Shh, baby. Shoo, 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 baby, goodbye, goodbye. Your Papa's off to the 7 seas, the 7 seas. Your big tall Papa's off to the 7 seas.
And now it's time for our radio show for tonight. This one was written and produced by the folks here at FAK3 News. It is titled The Disaster on the New Belfast. This story was donated to the station by Mr. York of Connecticut. He donated it in memory of his father, who, on a merchant sailing voyage near the Newfoundland coast, perished in a storm some weeks ago. He claims this to be the true story of what happened on that fateful October night, but only the waves in the sky can give testament to what happened aboard the ship, the New Belfast. The story was submitted from the viewpoint of his father, but it was submitted without any additional information, so we cannot know whether this is his own testimony somehow pried out of the depths or if it is merely speculation. That is up to the listener to decide. It was on the second day of October that our ship left Connecticut. I had never shipped aboard the New Belfast before, but to me it looked like every other cargo ship in that port. It had a tall, broad red hull with 7 cargo holds lining the deck. Each one had a hatch that stretched the width of the ship. When I arrived, there was lots of activity aboard, with people loading stuff for the voyage ahead. I had signed on as an engineer, as all my seaman certifications were in that field. I hardly knew anyone on board the day we pulled away, save for the captain named Jenkinson. I had served under him once before on a different vessel, but that was many years ago now. I knew him as a kind man and a good taskmaster. We were bound for London, England. From there we would sail down to Spain and then home again. On the first night nothing seemed awry, and the men off their sea watch ate in the galley with me. While we were sitting in that galley, a violent storm started up. The boat rocked from side to side, but we were comfortable in the relative safety of the galley. I met some of the men of the crew, mostly old hands who had been at sea for years. During our supper, the first mate burst into the galley. He was dripping wet in his oilskins from the awful storm that spun around us. "Come out, all of you! A hatch has burst!" he cried to us. We jumped up, annoyed, and ran with him out onto the deck. The weather was brutal, and we were not dressed for it. The hatch which had gone off was close to the forecastle in the mess. It laid open, with the spray going over it. One of the huge metal hinges had broken under the pressure. Waves broke over us everywhere. 4 men were trying to right the hatch. Through the storm, the late afternoon had grown pitch black, and the lights of the ship blinked in and out. Soon enough, the lights went out completely. "You there, York!" the first mate yelled at me. "Go down below and work on getting the power back on." I rushed back down into the galley, through the mess of hallways to the engine room. I bumped into the captain on my way down. He didn't say anything to me, just rushed past. Once I reached the engine room, which was no small feat in the pitch black, I fumbled over to the first cabinet and found a flashlight. I clicked it on and illuminated the engine room, and saw the huge diesel throbbing away ahead of me. I checked some of the dials, and it was clear to see that while the engine was running, the shaft of the electrical generator had thrown. I worked my way over to it, and had a look at the shaft. It had torn through several bolts and was about a foot out of place. It still spun in the air, though, since it was connected to the engine. To get the power back on, I would need to shut the engine down so that the shaft would stop running. I ran over to the main panel and shut down the huge lever which stopped the engine. With the engine stopped, the ship now rolled even more in the swell. I hoped that the men on top were doing all right, for if water got into the hatches, it would spell disaster for the New Belfast. I got back over to the generator shaft and started to try and get it back into place. It was over a foot thick, so it wouldn't budge. I came back to the tool cabinet and found a large metal mallet. Hitting this against the shaft, it started to move a little, but not much. If I could get the shaft back in order, I would be able to start up the engine again, and the boat would have an easier time fighting the waves. As I was hammering at the shaft, I noticed water beginning to drip on the ground. I wiped it away and kept on hitting at it. It only budged a little. Just as I started my second try on it, the door to the engine room opened. There stood the first mate, shining a flashlight down at me. "All well down there?" he cried. I gave a thumbs up back. I was sweating from my labor. "Another hatch went. We need to get the engine started if we're going to beat back these waves." He looked desperate. I turned back to my work and started hitting at the shaft again. Above my head, a pipe burst. Cold seawater now rained down on me. I threw down the hammer and hurried to the door. The hold was filling up fast. I got to the door and the water was already up to my shins, but the door wouldn't open. I pushed and pushed with all my might, but the deadbolt on the other side had been set. Through the door I could hear muffled voices. I yelled to them. I kicked at the door, but it wouldn't budge. The water was up to my chest. I took a deep breath and tried the door one more time. This is On the Hour. I'm John McCurdy with FAK3 News. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the show today, and don't worry, there's more music on the way with Ain't That a Kick in the Head by Dean Martin. News for FAK3 News is provided by CBS, the BBC World Service, NPR, USA Facts, and the Washington Post. All piano music is recorded from Virtual Piano. All sound is edited on Audio Mass. Literary stories are found on the online library of short stories. Sound effects come from Freesound, and the weather is from Time and Date. On the Hour is written and produced by John McCurdy and is published by Knox McCullough. Remember to keep your feet on the ground and your hands reaching for the sky. I'm John McCurdy. Goodbye.
How lucky can one guy be? I kissed her and she kissed me. Like the fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head? The room was completely black. I hugged her and she hugged back. Like the sailor said, quote, ain't that a hole in the boat? My head keeps spinning. I go to sleep and keep grinning. If this is just the beginning, my life is gonna be beautiful. I've sunshine enough to spread. It's just like the fella said. Tell me quick, ain't love a kick in the head? Like the fella once said, Ain't that a kick in the head? Like the sailor said, quote, ain't that a hole in a boat? My head keeps spinning. I go to sleep and keep grinning. If this is just the beginning, my life is gonna be beautiful. She's telling me we'll be wed. She's picked out a king-size bed. I couldn't feel any better, or I'd be sick. Tell me quick, oh, ain't love a kick? Tell me quick, ain't love a kick? Ain't